For 3 entire decades, one of the most terrifying serial killers in American history was just hiding in plain sight. We're going to get into the absolutely chilling story of Dennis Rader, a man who lived a shocking double life, and explore how those two worlds finally and violently came crashing down. And this right here, this is the whole terrifying puzzle of the case. On one hand, you've got Dennis Rader, the family man, the president of his church, just a regular guy in the community. But on the other side, you have BTK. That's the name he gave himself, and it stands for his horrific signature: bind, torture, kill. So the question is, how on earth can these two people exist in the same body? That's what we're going to break down. To really understand why his capture was such a bombshell, you have to look at the mask he wore every single day. The public face of Dennis Rader wasn't just normal. I mean, to many, it was exemplary. What makes this so incredibly creepy is how deeply he was woven into the fabric of his community. This guy was no recluse. He'd served in the Air Force, he was married with 2 kids, and he even became the president of his local church. Get this, he worked as a compliance officer, a guy whose job it was to enforce city codes. And in hindsight, that just feels like this pathetic imitation of the absolute power he really craved in his secret life. To everyone else, he was just a polite, helpful guy. But of course, behind that pillar of the community was a secret life, a monstrous reality that had been festering for decades. So let's peel back that mask and see where this terror really began. The truly chilling thing is that the BTK persona didn't just pop up out of nowhere when he was an adult. No, this was a long, slow burn. Even as a kid, Rader admitted to having these deeply disturbing fantasies. The cruelty to animals, that was a huge early warning sign of his obsession with power and complete domination, an obsession that would later shape his horrific crimes against people. After his first murders back in 1974, the brutal killing of the entire 4-member Otero family, Rader gave himself a name. He became BTK. And this wasn't just a nickname, it was like a brand. It was a proud declaration of his methods, a way to terrorize the public and to take ownership of his crimes. He enjoyed every single part of it, the planning, having absolute control over his victims, and then reliving it all over and over again. But for Rader, this was never just about the act of killing. It was about recognition. The man had a massive ego, and he desperately wanted the world to know about his work. And this led to one of the most chilling parts of the entire case. This quote really gets to the heart of what drove him. He just could not stand being anonymous. So he started sending these taunting letters to the media and to the police. He didn't just confess, he gloated, providing graphic details, strange poems, and even puzzles about his murders. He was playing this twisted game, and the goal was to make everyone fear the name BTK. So let's look at this timeline because it shows you just how this all played out. Look at that gap from 1991 to 2004. That's 13 years of absolute silence. The case went completely cold. Rader just stopped. He stopped killing, he stopped communicating, and he melted right back into his life as a husband, a father, and a church president. That ability to just switch off the killer persona is what made him so incredibly hard to catch. He was quite literally hiding in plain sight. But after all those years of silence, that same massive ego that drove him to taunt the police in the 70s would, in the end, be his undoing. In 2004, he just couldn't resist that urge for attention any longer, and he made one final fatal mistake. Okay, this part is just brilliant police work. Rader, trying to use more modern tech, sent a message asking a really simple question: can you trace a floppy disk? The police saw their chance and publicly replied, no, knowing full well it was a lie. They set the perfect trap. Rader took the bait, sent a disk, and investigators immediately found hidden metadata on it. It pointed directly to a computer at Christ Lutheran Church and to a user named Dennis. The 30-year hunt was over, all because of his own arrogance. With his arrest in 2005, that mask he'd worn for decades finally came off. The pillar of the community was revealed to be a monster, and the shockwaves from that revelation continue to haunt us to this day. What shocked everyone during his confession wasn't just the gruesome details. It was his demeanor. He calmly, almost robotically, described his crimes as if he were discussing a project at work. I mean, there was no emotion, no guilt, no remorse at all. It was the final chilling confirmation that Dennis Rader, the family man, was just a character he played. And in the end, the devastating toll comes down to this one stark number: 10. 10 confessed murders, 10 consecutive life sentences. It's a number that represents an immeasurable amount of pain and loss, and it ensures he will never, ever leave prison. And that's really the lasting legacy of the BTK case. It's become this crucial subject of study. For law enforcement and criminal psychologists, Rader is the ultimate example of a double life offender, someone capable of hiding extreme violence behind this meticulously crafted facade of total normalcy. He's proof that sometimes the most dangerous monsters look just like everyone else. And all of this leaves us with a deeply unsettling question. The story of Dennis Rader forces us to confront this terrifying possibility about the masks people wear. And it really makes you wonder, how well do we truly know the people next door?